should say. That was exciting. Okay, so you want to use what just came off? Nothing. Okay. I thought it was a microscope. That's all right. All right. So you want to use the Aspergillus cnidophores. That's the slide you want to use. All right. That will show you the structure that you're looking for. Okay. So you want to make sure you do that. All right. Any questions about that? Also, when you measure, right? So now it's getting a little more complicated about the measuring. You can just measure, like, let's say the diameter of that, right? So I just want some kind of size measurement, so we have to kind of get a scope of how big this structure is. Okay. You can just draw a line if you want to, like here to here, and say that. All right. Any questions about that? Penicillium. You're going to draw the conidia again. This one makes conidia. Okay? And for this, I think you can use any slide except you don't want to use the orange one. So use the so for this one you want to use the Penicillium wet mount. Penicillium. Okay. Don't use the orange section. Because that's not going to give you the right structure that we're looking for. Okay? It's going to be hard to find that section. Okay, find the structure, right? So that's what you want to do for the second one. Okay? All right? In this case, you can just measure the length of the reproductive structure to get it here. That's fine. Okay? Rhizopus. Rhizopus, I think, is the one where you can use any of the slides. It should be fine. This one, however, is two different structures. Okay, so there are slides that have, like, let's say, one of them. There are some slides that have both of them. So you can use whatever slides you want, just as long as you can see both structures. Okay. So for this one, you want to get a drawing of the sporangia, and then the other structure would be what? Which kind of spores? So what's the mating structure? The mating zygospore. Okay, the sexual structure. All right. So just to remind all of us, this is the asexual structure. This is sexual. Okay. All right. So you want to draw both of those. Okay. All right. So that should count for the 4 circles that you have on the second page. All right. Any questions about that?
I just want to know, what do you want to measure on the penicillin? Like,
so the length, so what you want to measure is this length here, from here to here, okay? So just like the length of your hand, right? Imagine your hand from here to here, okay? All right? Okay, now, this is going to get a little more complicated, because we're going to be also drawing molds. So let me show you how to do that, because we're going to do this in a very special way. Because these form spores, those spores tend to fly all over the room, okay? Especially if you work with them all on the same table. So what we're going to do is I'm going to divide these up. Each table is going to be responsible for culturing one of the 3 molds. Now, in order to have a complete set of data, we need all the molds. So we're kind of counting on each table to at least have a good mold culture from one of them, right? So that when we do our observations, we have something to look at. So the way I'm going to do this, that table is going to be responsible for this one, the Aspergillus, okay? This one, the middle table is going to be responsible for the Penicillium, right? Which kind of connects into this one. Okay, so anyway, this is going to be the penicillium. Ooh. Nice. And then the front table is going to have the rhizopus. All right. Yummy. All right, so let me show you how to do this. Okay. Now, this is alcohol. Okay, we're going to be using an alcohol. We're going to be dipping this in alcohol and flame it to sterilize the forceps. Okay. The other thing, each group needs to get one of these. Okay, this is an auger slant that we use to grow the molds. Okay. Maybe they have a bag. Okay, so what you're going to do is, let me demonstrate this to you. Now, make sure that you keep in mind the safety precautions. That is, you are working with open flame and alcohol. Right? The alcohol is flammable, so you want to avoid setting your beaker on fire. Okay. If you do, you can easily put it out just by covering it, like with the lid, or with your book, or with your iPad. All right, that looks two different ways. Okay. All right, and let me demonstrate one for you. I think there's no flint on this one.
Oh, there's another one.
There's another one, okay.
Here.
All right, so I'm going to get a flint for this. Oh, I lost my ability to light. Okay, all right, so now, what you do, so, for some of them, like the back two, you notice that your plate is divided in little squares, okay? Little squares. So you have these nice little jello squares to work with, okay? So what you do is your plate's divided into little squares. What you do is you take one of these little squares. All right, I know it looks like something you can eat, but don't eat it. What you do is you put it inside the slant. And you want the auger side, you want the mold or the fungus to face the auger so that it has that surface. Does that make sense? So that it has that surface to grow on. Okay? All right. So make sure you put it fungus side down right onto the auger. Okay. This one looks like it's a little more complicated. Because it's not divided into squares. So the other way you can do this, if you find yourself in that situation, is you can take, all you need is a small piece of it, right? So somehow get a small piece of it, and then stick it on the auger. So the way you do that, if I can do this, is that you have to flame this, okay? All right, now let me first see if I can. And you want to get a piece of it. Now, if you have a square, you can just pick up the square. If you have to get a piece of it, then you have a little more challenge. Yes. All right. So I'm just going to grab like a little piece of this, like that. Okay. And then you just stick it inside here. So you just stick it like that. All right. Okay. And that should grow.
Did you put it face down?
This one, because I'm just basically grabbing the mold directly. I'm just going to stick it.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, yeah. Okay. All right, but you want to be touching the surface. All right. So if you do have gel, make sure that the mold side. Right. Now, before you do anything with this, you have to do what?
Disinfect.
Yeah, to flame it. Okay. All right. So you just flame it and keep the flame away from the beaker, so you don't have a nice little beaker fire, little bonfire, like setting your garbage can on fire. Okay. Okay. Then when you're done, now the important thing is you got to make sure you know what mold you have. You want to label it because we're going to have to grow these all together. Okay, so make sure you make a tape label, and so that you know what you have. Put your group initials on it so you know which one is yours. Okay? Any questions about that?
So we get to keep yours?
Huh?
We get to keep yours?
No, this is mine. All right, so
So we're only doing one?
no, each group does. So we need several from each table.
Oh, okay.
Okay? The more we have, the better.